Hello, and welcome to House and Chat Real Estate Real Talk with Dena and Chris. I'm Chris Breitenbach.
And I'm Dena Mathis. And as planned and as promised, we are back at the Kala Coffeehouse.
Yes, we are.
We're back here for episode number.
Oh, I do have it on both sides.
Yep, right here, Kala. We're drinking our coffee. If you guys are on the YouTube channel, you can see that. We're back for episode number 51. And last time we released, where we re-released our episode number 50.
Yes.
Because it was a special episode for us, and it was exactly 2 years, Chris. And I don't know if you remember this, but it was exactly 2 years to the date, March, yes, that we are re-releasing this 51st episode. So we're super excited to be back here at Kala and to reintroduce or maybe introduce you all to the Kala Coffeehouse for the first time. And we are sitting here with our guest today.
Yes, so our guest today is Josh Romano, and he's going to share with us some updates. Last time we were here, we were chatting with Jackie and Roger, and so they have since moved on and hopefully are enjoying their retirement. So Josh is going to share some of the updates with us and then reinforce their mission and their philanthropy. So Josh, welcome.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you guys here, and it looks like we've got you well caffeinated. Yeah, that's good. So first step accomplished. That's good. But yeah, it's a pleasure to have you guys here and to celebrate the initial episode that happened right here at Kala.
Right here at Kala is where it all began. Why don't you just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do here?
Yeah, so I actually have a variety of things that I'm involved with. Probably what feels like too much at times, but all good stuff, all stuff that is real life-giving to me and stuff that I just enjoy being a part of. First and foremost, I'm a pastor. That's what brought me to the area. We're on site here. We're actually in a building that is just next to the church building that I work at, that I've been a part of for 14 years. So I'm a pastor. I actually own a gym here in Mason that's just nearby as well, called CrossFit Mason. So I am a fitness coach as well, and
I didn't know that part.
Yeah. No, it's full of surprises, I guess. And then got to be a part of founding Kala Coffeehouse with Roger and Jackie. Also a dad of 3 boys, which is part of why I had to start a coffee house, because I needed more caffeine. So that's been great. Yeah, and a gym, right. So wear a lot of different hats. Actually, my wife would point out that I wear a lot of different outfits. I mean, in a given day.
And you're wearing an outfit like today. Drink good, do good.
Yeah, this is our new brand here, new branded item. We want everybody to embrace that mission of we want them to drink good, and we would like them to do that here at Kala, preferably, and then to go out and do good. That's what we're all about. So, but for me, it's really all the different things that I do. I think it really comes back to relationships. So though it kind of comes in a variety of forms, whether it's as a fitness coach or as a dad, or the things that we do here at Kala, or certainly as a pastor, for me, it's really just about leaving people better than found them. So that's kind of my personal mission, and that's how that connects to kind of what we do here and how this all came to be.
Well, and that's really cool, because that's exactly why and where Chris and I started here. We would sit upstairs in your comfy couches.
Yes.
And this whole idea of the podcast came about like kind of right at the beginning of COVID, wasn't it, Chris?
Right.
And so it was just, how do we connect with people? How do we connect with local business? And we met Roger and Jackie, and you know, we just loved the Kala story and the mission behind Kala.
And I do want to interject, because Kala means good.
Yes.
And so in referring to your shirt and the conversation and the mission, that just falls in exactly what Kala is.
Exactly. And I identify, because Kala is a Greek word, everybody. And I'm Greek.
And we say it right, because everybody's like, how do you say it? Is it Kala? Is it Kala?
Yes, the accent is on the second A, Kala. is actually how you would say it. But Kala is all good too.
It's fun to hear people come in and just say it all kinds of different
Yeah.
ways, and we don't know either. But she's right. I think that's the actual way to say it.
We'll go
Very
with the
few
Greek
say
girl.
that. Yeah, right.
Hi.
Yeah. We'll take it.
So tell us about that mission and the philanthropy behind the Kala story.
Yeah. So a lot of people ask the question, really, even in terms of the structure of Kala, how it came to be, all these things, or questions related to, well, is Kala like a not-for-profit? Is it a for-profit? And actually, Access Church owns the brand Kala, but it's meant to be a separate entity solely for the purpose we want it to be like a non-threatening, non-intimidating just place to come and for ideas to be born, like your all's idea. But it's
you've had some authors.
Yeah.
Write books out of
Yes.
here.
We've had businesses started out of here. We've had podcasts started out of here. We've had books that were written out of here. So there's a lot of, we've tried to create a space that, is rich in the sense that it's a comfortable space, it's a safe space, and it's just a space people love to be. And so I think that comes back to some of what we're about. But people will ask me a lot of times, they'll say, well, is Kala a for-profit or is it a not-for-profit? And I'll tell them, well, it's even better. It's a for-profit that doesn't make a profit. And people look at me like,
Say that again.
yeah, right, exactly. That's
Say that again.
yeah. So it's a for-profit that doesn't really make a profit. And so this is about the time when, everybody's like, okay, well, I want some business advice at that point, obviously. Not really. But the idea is not that we're necessarily against profits. It's just that we've been more for people than for profit. And so people really are the thing that drive our decision making. And so and we have now kind of built up momentum, but early on we would have to sacrifice certain things in order to be a place that was primarily for people. And so it comes back to doing good, but and one of the things we do, obviously one of the ways we give that away is where a lot of coffee shops would use all of their tips to kind of bolster their staff salary, salaries. Our staff's always been just like, hey, we're going to give a lot of that back so that we can, support and honor local businesses and things like that. So, but that is one of the ways we do it. People generally think of Kala, they think when we talk about doing good or this idea of good, that it's just that. It's just the tips thing. It's the cause thing. And that is certainly an aspect of it. But one of the things we try to communicate and really, especially to our team, where it really starts with our team, is that every person that comes through those doors, we want to fill their cup in more ways than one. And so that's kind of our tag. It obviously has a coffee sort of illustration to it. But, if they come in and we just fill up a cup of coffee, then we haven't done our job fully. And we've heard stories of people that were just in, you never know what people are going to walk in those doors carrying.
Yeah.
And to just have a positive interaction. They might have just had the worst day ever, right? And have an interaction with our team or our staff. And and again, if it comes down to productivity, we might try to get people in and out as fast as we can. But one of the decisions we've made, and this is why I say we're a for-profit that hasn't made a profit. We have sacrificed the in and out for, we want people to feel like they want to stay here, they want to be here. And so one of our tags for a while was, and we had it on our shirts, just said stay a while, which if you know Chipotle, they know how to do business because they get as many people in and out the door. But when you buy a cup of coffee and people are like, we're just going to hang out here, that's not necessarily the most economical decision, but it is what we've tried to create. And interestingly, there's some Google data that supports the fact that on average people spend in our area, and I'm going to mess this up a little bit, so don't quote me on it, but we saw this in some Google analytics that on average people spend like 45 minutes at a coffee house. At Kala, they spend 2 hours. And so
2 hours at least.
Yeah.
We can attest to that.
Yeah.
We can attest. Upstairs in your loft was always one of our favorite places. Although we'll make ourselves at home in a lot of different. We talked about the corner back here that we like. But that's a big part of kind of who you are, is the atmosphere, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely about creating an atmosphere, and people really say that. It's interesting. They'll comment on how something just feels different about this place. And for me, I would really define it as, it comes back to that Greek word. It comes back to good. It comes back to really good translating itself back, or tracing itself back to just being loved. And I think that really, we've said as a leadership, that starts with us. If we got to love our team really well.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Roger and Jackie did that well, and Colleen, who's really, she's not here today, but she's about this thing, and she loves these ladies and the guys on our team, and has really created a family. And I think that's that, and I could tell all kinds of stories here about that, but like, they throw baby showers for each other, they celebrate each other when they move, head out to some new adventure or whatever. They just really love each other.
Yeah.
And actually, it's funny because a lot of them, I don't know if you would say this about a lot of workplaces, a lot of them spend their off days here on the other side of the counter or hanging out. And I actually just, when we walked by, I saw a few of our baristas just hanging out here. And so it really is like home, even for them.
And it really isn't the comment. I think most people think of work as this place they have to go to, right?
And they leave.
And then they
Can't
leave,
wait to
and they
leave.
can't wait to leave, right? I'll tell you a funny story. Not too long ago, I was in here and I was selling something on Facebook Marketplace, and I was meeting this person that I didn't know here at this small coffee shop because it was a good safe space. And one of the workers saw me kind of looking, and I don't know, we ended up engaging in a conversation. I said, I'm meeting some man that I've never met before. And, I'm like, just make sure I don't get kidnapped. Right? And it was kind of funny. I went out there, I met the guy, we did the exchange, and he was standing, like the kid that was working here, came outside, and watched. And then, I turned around and I was shocked, really. I was kidding about watch me, but he came outside and he watched through the whole transaction. I'm like, oh my gosh. I go, thank you so much. And he's like, I figured I had a responsibility.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I told you I would watch you.
Yeah, I love that.
So
I love hearing stories like that. And it's interesting because we have, like a lot of coffee houses, we have a staff that a lot of them are younger. But I just feel blessed. It feels like, divine appointment to me. And of course, I'm going to say that I'm a pastor, but really the way we have always just had the right people, like it's just the right time too, that have come in here. And, sometimes this generation gets a bad rap, for whatever reason, but some of the young people that work here, the majority of those that we have experienced have been that kind of like extra mile.
They're always warm and friendly and welcoming.
We love it.
Always love it.
So tell us a little bit about the various charities that you support.
So we actually, a lot of them are charities that we've kind of built up over the years. And so the very first group that we started with was a group called Greater Project. And there's some things that all of these have in common, and I'll mention that here in just a second. But Greater Project was one of the first ones. They service kids here in Warren County and then really worldwide. And so, this idea behind what they're about, we had a kindred spirit with, because their idea is love is greater. And so, in the same way we've tried to do that, they have the same heartbeat of like, if we could just see more love in our day, in our time, in our society. And so one of the ways they do that is in some of these underprivileged neighborhoods, they provide meals, backpacks full of food. They do block parties, things like this, providing coats, all kinds of different things. And so we've been able to partner up with them. What I was going to say in terms of what all of them have in common, because sometimes people will be like, hey, what about this cause? What about this cause? And one of the things we've had to say is, and this is important when it comes to doing good. There's so many good things you can do, but you can't do it all. And so we've had to be specific about what we're about, because we don't want to just make a shallow impact. We want to make, a really deep impact. And specifically, so one of the things we've said was all of our causes are Warren County based. So even if they're wider than Warren County, they do have an impact in Warren County. And one of the reasons behind that is because we figure that most of the customers that are coming in here are from Warren County, and we want them to come up. We want to kind of partner together in having ownership of Warren County, of our community. And so it's great to get to see our customers, buy into the things that, and it's great because they can see how they're making a visible impact right here in their own community. So Warren County, number 2, that's really just something that is kind of a non-negotiable for us, is kids. So every one of our, and we just find that people, when it comes to kids, like, people just have a big open heart when it comes to kids. And so that's been one of our things. And then one of the other aspects, and this isn't is known, but this is important to us, is we like to be able to have an actual relationship with whatever partner organization. So it's not just a matter of here's a check.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not unseen. You
Right.
actually get to see the impact and see
Right.
who you're helping.
Right. And so we have a relationship with every one of these organizations. We actually just started something this year. It's, we feel like you can accomplish a whole lot more together than as individual entities. And so we have brought together, we call it our Do Good Coalition. And it's all of these partners, representatives from each of these organizations. And we just sit around a table like this table actually, and we talk about how can we do more good together, and how can we help each other, how can we share resources, how can we share wisdom, all of these kinds of things. And so it's really been it's been a blessing to us. It's kind of one of the principles is actually a proverb, is he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. We find that every time we do something like this, we're the ones that are refreshed. We're into those that are pouring through lies. Like when we try to refresh them, we're the ones that end up refreshed. And so it's even in just kind of initiating this year, it's been a huge blessing to us to continue to build.
That's great. And it does, right? The energy and leveraging each other and just the support.
Yeah.
Even the support.
Yeah. To know that other people are in the fight with you,
Right.
that care about their community.
Right.
And absolutely, it's to have those kindred spirits is.
So every month you change who you support, am I
Right.
correct?
Yep.
Who are we currently supporting
Yeah.
this month?
So this month we're with Building Blocks for Kids.
Okay.
And Building Blocks for Kids, they work with kids with special needs. And it actually, like a lot of these organizations, it started with somebody identifying a problem or seeing a problem firsthand. And so, she was trying to help somebody she knew get some additional resources that they weren't able to get through insurance alone, that were needed. As she kind of went through that process and was able to help find funding and things needed, she realized that this was more than just an isolated thing. It was something that a lot of folks encounter. And so Building Blocks for Kids was formed, and they're able to, it could be something like, a kid that's not able to communicate, getting them the computer, the device that helps them to communicate. Anything for, a ramp that's needed in a home, to, all of these different kinds of things. So, and they work specifically with kids as well. Focus on Youth is another one. This is one we just added to our rotation this year. And they do just a whole bunch of things. They do foster care. They do a lot with at-risk kids.
I've seen a lot of foster care related to that particular organization.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so if someone is looking to,
and they
to
do
be
fostering
foster
to adopt, right?
They do foster to adopt, right? But they do a lot more that I think people are unaware of too. And one of those things, and this I think is this is one of the reasons we gravitated to them, is because they do a lot for behavioral health, mental health. We see it just this huge uptick, we've seen of challenges with kids with emotional issues, mental health issues, behavioral issues, and specifically those kids that are in foster situations, where they, we talk about this idea of creating home. Think about the fact that not every kid gets the experience to have a good home, and this is what they advocate for, those kinds of kids. And so it's very humbling for us to get to partner with them, and we're specifically kind of focusing on helping them with some of the behavioral health, mental health. They do things like play therapy, for example, where they have therapists that'll come in and, for a kid, it's not like let's sit across the table sort of. It's like, let's play together.
Right. Not like let's have a conversation.
Right.
And they're going to get something out of it. It's more about drawing them out, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think adult therapy should be play therapy.
Yeah.
If you want to ask me, like, I think I'd be more likely to sign up. But
I get it.
we're partnered with groups located service and feed kids here. And something tragic, the loss of their daughter, was something that really propelled them to say, wow, how can we impact kids? And they've done that time and time over. And so again, we just feel humbled that we even get to come alongside organizations like that.
I mean, it is. It's all really great stuff. And the fact that you are local, you are supporting organizations within people's own backyards is kind of the reason we really gravitated to this podcast platform. As realtors, we were like, home is really more than just the walls that we live in. It's about our community.
Right.
And this Kala coffee space really embodies the whole idea of community.
It does. It's, again, home. Every time you come in, you feel like you're coming home.
Yeah. So one more thing I wanted to ask about is there something special about the ingredients here also? Speaking of local. Tell us a little bit about that.
So, we talk a lot about, when we think about good, we talk about it in 3 different categories. We talk about good quality, so we want quality, good community, and lastly, for a good cause. And so, the ingredients have always mattered. This is again back to the people over profits. We could turn a much bigger profit by not going locally sourced, and and even the coffee, the way the single origin coffee, we can, through our partnership with Yield, identify the very farm from which the beans come.
Wow.
So which is really, and that's we have again partnered with somebody that shares our value system in Yield, and so they have relationships with these farmers, and so down to those that supply our sausage, TS Farms, and then we have each of these pieces, and Jackie was really the innovator of the signature sandwich.
She talked a lot about all the different creations.
Oh yeah,
right.
And she could give you just a much it's a piece of art, and it really is. For her, it was assembling this. She's like, we need just the right muffin, and we have blue oven to this day. We continue to use their muffins, and there's just something about that blue oven muffin, and people, they're drawn to that. They, and then we also use another local baker for a lot of our toast. It's 16 bricks.
Yes.
So I get that mixed up with it. There's another one like 16 lots, I think.
Yeah,
I think I got that right.
That's a brewery.
Yeah, that's a brewery. Yeah, right.
That's a little different. We don't
right. We don't have it. We just coffee here.
Which actually, you bring up a good point, because it isn't just coffee.
Yeah.
There are other food items here as well.
Yeah, and that's, that is, I think, something that makes it unique from other coffee houses is, and again, it adds to the let's stay a while. We want you to actually sit, have a meal, hang out, spend some time. But every one of those, and I can tell you, even since Roger and Jackie have retired, that has been something that legacy we've wanted to carry on. And Colleen is just as passionate.
So I always ask the zinger type of question.
Okay.
What's your favorite coffee drink, or what's your favorite drink here?
You're a tough journalist. I would say anything. This is going to sound like a non-answer. I really like all of our coffee drinks. I like a good latte, but my day-to-day drink, and it's going to sound boring, it's good coffee, but I just black coffee. I drink the black coffee. And like I said, I'm tempted so much throughout the day to just be sugared up on so many different things that I have to fall back on the black coffee. But basically, anything with caffeine in it. That's my favorite drink. So I need lots of
shot.
Right.
I will say your non-fat lattes are one of my favorites.
Good.
And,
yeah.
And that's what we're drinking today.
I have coffee all over the place in Cincinnati, and this is one of my favorite beverages.
I like the cashew coffee an awful lot.
That is like you either love it or you don't like it.
It's really distinct flavor, and it's a little. You guys still do Waffle Wednesday?
We do Waffle Wednesday, yeah, and again, another sort of legacy item we've carried on from the very beginning. Cool. But they've gotten really creative with these waffles, and people will look. They'll be like, we have one guy actually who works, in the same building, and he comes every Wednesday, like on point. got to get that waffle, and it's
That's great.
been through the entire rotation of them. There's been so many
I
different.
love it.
I didn't know how many ways you could spin a waffle, but there are a lot of different waffle varieties, and we're continuing to explore more options on that. So
Sounds good.
so that's why I have to work out too, is because of
Well, you got the
Waffle
gym,
Wednesday,
you got
Yeah.
you got the worship, you got
Yeah,
the
yeah.
coffee, right?
and one-stop shop.
You're all
Yeah.
good. Is there anything we haven't really touched on that's final words? And tell everybody where you're located.
Yeah, so we're located. It's a bit hidden. We stay a little bit hidden. We're behind the Axis Church building off of Route 42 in Mason. As you're heading out of Mason, kind of toward Lebanon on 42, and so that's where we're at. I would say I really, one of the things that really makes Kala special, and we've said this a lot of times, at least in-house, and we communicate this, is our customer base. Like those that have, for us, it hasn't been about just being a coffee house in the community, but a coffee house for the community. But the community has really embraced that and come alongside that and made this their home. And we feel, you feel humble to see how many people become regulars and just bring their friends and are excited to bring their friends in here. We actually just this year won award through Mason Lifestyle Magazine, which is the best coffee house in Mason, and that's voted by people in the community. Right. And so that was really a cool thing for us. And when we kind of announced about it or posted about it, we kind of held up the award. We're like, this one's for all of us, because Kala isn't about, it's not about me, it's not about those that lead it, it's about all of us. And so just a shout out to any of our customers that are listening. We really appreciate them, and they are what makes Kala special. And our team, I can't say enough about them. But yeah, we feel super blessed to get to be on this journey.
And
Awesome.
all is Kala.
Yes.
All is Kala.
All
Yeah.
is Kala.
Yeah.
Drink good, do good, and come on in and visit us, visit you here at Kala. And we're so happy to have had you today and to hear more about this story and to share it with all of our listeners and our YouTube watchers. So thank you all for joining us. This has been House and Home Chat, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Bye.
Cheers.
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 Cheers. Cheers. Maybe we should hug it out. We are